Mariusz Siek, and I want to speak today how to create a service catalog. In my previous video I encourage you to defining your service catalog and how important service catalog is for you if you want to manage IT services in a proper way. So today I will describe the most important part of the service catalog and how to do it. I divided this video in two parts. In the first part I will tell about defining business service, and in the second about defining a system service. From what we should start creation of service catalog. So in my opinion the most important thing is beginning with definition. So we should define the most important terms which we will use during this document, and correctly define them in this way that other people can understand what these terms means, and everyone who will read service catalog will understand these terms in the same way. So this is very important to have this definition at the beginning, because it helps us to avoid some misunderstandings and not correct using of services. So the next point. Okay, what we require, what we should have to define business service. We should collect all required information. The good source is analytical documentation, which should be prepared by analytical team. This team collects all this information from business and record or write this information in the analytical formats like UML or BPMN. But these days very often development teams don't use analytical documentation, and they are working in the agile techniques like Scrum. In these techniques there is no analytical documentation, but only stories prepared by users. So we have to use this information. We also can find required information in architect documentation, or if there is no any documentation, we can meet with analytics architects and require and gain all required information from these people. So if we have all required information to define business service, what should we do? We can we can define business service using a simple definition of business service. So this definition sounds clearly separated functionality, supporting business process, and delivering exact result for the business. So if we take this definition and all information which we collected from documentation or people, we can define business service, and this business service should contain the name. It's very important, so it should be clearly define what this service is doing, and should help us understand the meaning of the service. The second is the description of the service. So in this part we should deliver more detailed information about how the service is working and what is the most important in this service, which functionalities are used in this service. The third is importance for the business. So we should verify and define how this service is important for business, and for me there is three levels of importance: critical, very important, and important. The fourth is the delivery time or deployment time. So we should, it's a date of deployment. We should define when the business service will be deployed on production. And the fifth is the date of using. Because sometimes deployment service deployed on production is not used by users, so we have to define the second date, which will show us when this business service will be used by users. So this elements creates the definition and the description, the most important information about business service. For the business service we can also define the parameters, so the factors which will define some important information related with parameters, and these informations are roles. So we should define which roles are for this business service. The most important roles are business service owner, users, project manager, service level manager, service owner, analyst, architect. The second is continuity of the business service. This is very important to determine if this business service is critical for business and should be part of business continuity plan. We can made a business impact analysis which will define the risk related with business and show us if this business is critical or not, or if the service is critical or not for the business. And in this part we have two very important parameters. One parameter is recovery time objective. It's show us the time required to recover the service from the if it will breakdown occurred. So this time can, for example, is 4 hours. And the second is recovery point objective, and this parameter shows acceptable of data acceptable data loss for the service explained expressed in time. For example, we agree that we should lost 1 hour of a data for the service. The next parameters related with business service are security. In this parameter we can define password policy, how to recover password, the method of authentication, and all other matters related with security, which are important for us. So I tell you how to define business service, how to collect information required to define business service, which parameter should describe the business service, and this is the end of part 1. And now you can create service catalog in the part of business service. In the second part I will tell you how to create system service and parameters related with this service, so SLA exactly for the service. So thank you for your attention today, and I hope that this information will help you to create your own service catalog. If you have any question, please leave a comment below this video. And thank you for today, and see you soon. Bye, Mariusz Siek.